So in comedy, we have to do a lot of really weird shows. Like we do shows like, I've done them in sex dungeons and places like this. Uh,
Heard about those.
it's a popular talked about story. As a musician, have you ever really had to do that? Like perform in like really crazy places or?
Yes. And besides just like ones where it's a really hard show to enjoy because either the bar doesn't want you to be there or nobody shows up or something weird's going. Everybody's really cool. They cooked us food and had beers and everything. The first band played really great. Like, cool, great. This is awesome. And so we got up and played. And when we got off, we started loading our equipment out. And this guy walks in and he goes, "I found a roadkill deer." And then the party just immediately went straight down. They started chopping this deer up in the backyard and cooking the meat. And people were putting the blood on their face and like eating this meat that they just chopped. And like we were on tour with another band, and my band was like, "We're just gonna go ahead and drive tonight. We're not staying here." And because at the end of the night, they had like taken one of the legs and nailed it to the front of their house, and it was hanging down as you walked onto the porch. And then like one of the better stories is, I think it was Connor walks by this guy brushes into him, and Connor looks and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry." And the guy's wearing the deer skin on his head. And he just like brushed against yeah. So our bandmates stayed there, or sorry, the band we were on tour with stayed there. And we left. And then we caught up with them the next day. And they're like, "It was pretty easy to sleep." Like,
Oh my God.
that,
What?
that tops it. There's a couple of other crazy ones, but that one tops it for sure.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't have anything nearly as insane as that.
It's got to be pretty close.
I did a show at Whittier Bar when it was Beehive Lounge. And it was like some show that someone else put together. And I had just gotten back to town after I had been gone for 6 months working. And I came back and it was my first show back. And I was like, cool, I'm excited, And I walk in and I'm like, where is everybody? I don't see any other comedians. So I go talk to the bartender. I'm like, hey, I'm here for a show. 8:00 is when it said. And he goes, "Oh, I don't have anything here." And I'm like, okay.
At the wrong venue?
Yeah, I was like, surely I've made a mistake. This is my fault. Definitely has to be. So I open up my phone. I go to Facebook and I find the event. And I'm like, oh. I was like, well, this says it's here now, And the guy's like, well, I mean, we don't have any. I mean, I don't really know, man. I just work here. And I'm like, well, that's why you should know, I think.
He's actually.
Yeah.
That's one thing you should know, actually. Maybe, I don't know. Might hint towards why that place was so successful.
That might be right. So finally, the other comedians and the bookers show up. I thought I was late. And they finally all show up. And he starts setting up. And as he's doing that, I'm like, should I tell them that they didn't even know a comedy show was happening? Is that my job? And as he's setting up, a group of women walk into the bar holding something. And I'm like, who are these people? And they walked up to the bartender, and I'm sitting there watching this, and they go, oh, so we're here for our friend's birthday. And I go, what? And they go, we called and we reserved the place tonight to have a birthday party.
Oh my God. The worst hecklers at that point.
Yeah. And so it was I'm just remembering some other details from the story that I have blocked out.
Drama. Real.
So the booker goes up to the birthday party, and they're like, "Hey, we're supposed to have a show tonight," and they're like, "Oh, that's weird because we called. They said nothing was happening. We could have this, room." And the bartender's like, "It's not written on the notepad. I don't know." So for some reason, we still do the show,
Great call.
which a show for people who were not expecting,
Yes.
and also for people who are waiting on a birthday girl to arrive. I mean, we're just basically the waiting room at this point. We're the magazines you like kind of stare at.
Oh my gosh.
So we do the show, a couple comics go up, and it is going real bad. It's going horrible because these comics, I guess, don't know how to read the room. And so they're just doing jokes that you're like, this birthday party is definitely not digging this stuff.
That's
So-
rough, man. That's rough. When you get into a room where they just don't want you, at least with music, you're usually so loud or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like, cool, yeah, go outside. But I get that with the ukulele pretty often.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back when Yeti was rolling, I played every Friday there for
Mhm.
happy hour. So it's like 6 to 9. Who the fuck was at the Yeti from 6 to 9? People that did not know what the Yeti was. And they just
Yes.
there. Well, one day I played it, and it was during Hop Jam, Hanson's big, thing. This lady had been there since like 4 o'clock. And she was already, and she was like, play some Hanson. And I'm like, I don't know any Hanson. She was like, how could you not know Hanson? We went on this whole thing. Exactly. So I just keep playing, and then she gets closer, and she starts talking to the bartender louder. He's like, this is terrible. This guy is just terrible. Like, he would be so successful if he just like learned how to play songs that people liked, kind of thing. Giving me the whole freaking rundown. So I play one set. I play 45 minutes to her bullshit, and then I go take a break and have to talk to her for 15 more minutes. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to playing. She gets closer for the next set and starts just kind of directing it at me. And I put the ukulele down and I say, you are a very rude person. And I walk out.
What a power move.
Yeah. It was like, you know what? I don't have to do this. I actually don't have to do this. Not some big show. We're doing 6 to 9 at the Yeti.
Yeah. Yeah, also, if you want to hear Hanson, go 2 blocks over that way.
No, she needed pre-Hanson for the Hanson.
Oh, I see.
Can't get
Yeah, I at that birthday party show, I just remembered that the birthday girl finally came in and she was crying. And this was in the middle of my set of all of them.
How'd
And
you
she
work
came.
that?
It basically, I stopped doing stand-up and I just was doing therapy at that point.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Life is all.
Yeah. Well, what's going on? So, where are you from?
Mother, I don't
Yeah, it turns out that on the way over, she had found out that her girlfriend, who was supposed to be at the birthday party, was cheating on her, and so was not at the birthday party.
know.
Which she didn't know it was a birthday party because she thought it was just a surprise get-together with just her girlfriend. So when she showed up and all her friends were there with a cake, she was like, what the fuck is happening? Crying that the girl wasn't there because she just got a call that, and then
Dude, that's good. You're just, here's a party for your breakup. And you're older.
yeah, and you're a day closer to death.
And there's comedy.
Yeah. Well, see, in comedy, you get a light. Like, they give you a light if you have a minute left to wrap up. Get out of here. I realized that night my light was after doing 30 minutes of stand-up to this room with the girl crying and everything. And they were no longer paying attention at that point.
Yeah.
The light to wrap up was when the girlfriend showed up. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. See you guys later.
I can't work this. I can't do this. You two talk.
Yeah, you guys, maybe you should take the microphone. You guys obviously need to communicate here.